showing we don't need roads.
So I'm going to tell you, I genuinely love the horror genre, and I am kind of a weirdo in that I've always thought it would be really cool to be in like a horror movie or a series and then just be killed off in the most spectacular fashion. Like I've always wanted like a really brutal, gory death. When you sign on for a show like this, and obviously with you two, it's complicated because you're playing younger versions of characters, but is there any part of you that really wants a really badass horror movie or horror series death, or do you want to just make it all the way to the end?
I like money, so I prefer to make it to the end. So, but I guess that's real life mixing too much with, yeah.
Honestly, I think if your character can die in the most epic way possible, it's memorable. Who doesn't want that?
Yes, I've said this so many times, but we can't do it, can we? It's impossible. However, is it impossible? So
no, I don't want to die. I'm like, I mean, to be fair, I feel like on different projects I have done the death and the gory blood. It's not as nice as you think it is, by the way.
Really?
Sticky. But
yeah, it's very sticky. Yeah, I'd imagine.
I mean, if I'm gonna die, I would love a very cool death for sure, but I'd prefer not to.
I think everyone dreams of that. And what the perfect situation would be is like we have that dramatic death.
Yeah.
And then we just like,
and I think you got to see a couple of deaths as well.
That's true.
Yes, I have a big ego, so I know that if I want to go out, it has to be in an incredible, bloody, gruesome way. But it also like if I was always asking like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna die? Because I wanted to be in the whole show.
I feel like oftentimes in projects that involve some sort of like an apocalypse, a lot of times people will ask like, what's the skill that you have that would keep you alive, to help you fight on? So I kind of want to ask the opposite. Like, what is the personality trait you possess that would make it harder for you to survive? Like I'm a loud walker, so I'd be dead in about 15 minutes. What's the thing that would give you away?
Oh, that's a great question. I probably would think I'm a hyper empath. So I'd feel, similarly to the zombies in Resident Evil, which we're calling the Zeros, they're not actually zombie. They're not undead. They're humans who have been infected. So I'd see these people. I'd see my friends. I'd be like, are you okay? Can I help?
I don't know. I mean, as I've gotten older, that I can't run too fast anymore. That's probably the worst thing.
I don't really work out that much, so I don't think I could run away.
Cardio is very important. That's huge in situations like this.
I think I'd be too curious to know what was going on first, that I'd stay in one spot and like look before I started to think, oh, I should move.
I think maybe because I get anxious, I might be like, you know what? I just really don't want to think about this right now. So just take me.
I got to be an extra in a zombie movie once a few years back, and it was really surreal in between takes, just sitting around and watching all the extras in the makeup, just talk about like the game last night or what they did over the weekend. So I'm curious for you, what was the weirdest, most surreal off-camera interaction you had with one of the actors when they were in the full makeup?
I'd probably say there was an amazing sequence with the liquor sequence, which is, if you know, Resident Evil is a classic Resident Evil monster. But obviously liquors are not with us here on planet Earth. So instead it is my amazing friend and stunt performer, Danny, in a green suit, doing the absolute most and a great job at it.
When a project is based on a video game or inspired by a video game, there's oftentimes this presumption that the actors play the game to prepare for the movie or the series or whatever the project may be. But I've always been curious as to like what that actually gives you. Like aside from just sort of familiarizing yourself with that world, what does playing a video game actually give you as an actor that you can use in your character?
Well, that's a tricky question for me, only because I haven't played the game. And as a matter of fact, when this project first came to me, I didn't even know that it was based on a game. I only knew the films. So my choice to do it was based on the scripts. And I was very fortunate in that we did 8 episodes the first season, and I was able to read the first 7 before I even had a meeting. So I kind of knew what the role was, and I was so gripped by the character and story and the writing that I just wanted to be part of the world.
So I actually play the video game. So you're talking to the target audience here.
I knew I liked you.
I think it's the feeling. It's a feeling. You can understand that you can do the homework. You can, learn about all the characters and the history. But I think it's the feeling. It's the emotion that it gives you. It's that cinematography and the shots. And it kind of makes it easier on set when you're trying to recreate that feeling for fans and also new ones too.
I think watching the game, I watched people play the games, but I think that helped me prepare because I saw how that world was making me feel.
Mhm.
And that was kind of my goal. It's like, okay, as an actor being in the series, this is exactly the type of feeling that I want to give to the audience. I think that whole,
Yeah.
getting familiar with the world.
Yeah, and I think it just gives you a sense of the world as
Yeah,
well, and how
exactly.
important it means to people. Which I think was just eye-opening for us, because then it just starts to mean something for us, because this show is going to mean something to people. So we have to make it that way.
Yeah, they're scary. I mean, I didn't
It
ever
is.
play it, but I did go on YouTube to, I'm a horrible, unfortunately, I don't know how to work the thing.
Mhm.
But I went on YouTube just to like kind of go through the world to like answer your question. I think people who do, let's say, play the games as an actor, how it would help you is like, you really get immersed in the world.
Sure.
And on YouTube, kind of like watching someone play it for you, like when someone streams it, you definitely get an idea of like you said, how anxiety inducing it is to be in that kind of like world and mindset.
Especially if you play it with the VR. No.
That's no joke.
Mhm.
That's legit. It goes without saying that you have been a part of the legacy of the golden age of television in so many facets, whether it be The Wire, or I'm a huge Lost fan, which I tell you every single time. From an outsider looking in, did you sort of feel that moment, that shift when we collectively as fans felt that turn in television? Or is it just you're an actor and you presented with great projects and you've made the most of them?
Wow, that's a really good question. Because when you're in the middle of it as it's happening, I don't know that you necessarily know that it's changing. It's kind of ironic, because when I first got out of drama school at the beginning of the 90s, it was at a time where a lot of actors who considered themselves thespians really only wanted to do film and theater, and television was just a means to an end. So, and it really wasn't, The Wire. My first big break on television was Oz, which was HBO's first dramatic series.
Yes. Oh my God.
But The Wire was The Wire first aired the second season that The Sopranos was on, and we were actually the lead to The Sopranos. And so we were on when Sopranos and 6 Feet Under and oh shoot, what's the show about the
Deadwood?
No, well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But anyway, I could go on and on. Anyway, my point is that the only thing I can say is that with The Sopranos, that's when I really noticed the shift, because it was the first time that, television stars I'd seen television stars that were as famous as movie stars before, but not that had the same kind of mystique and cachet. And that's when I realized, oh, something's shifting here. And I felt like I was really in the center of it, because I was at HBO, because that's where it really started.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.